Welcome to Art Ed Radio, the podcast for art teachers. This show is produced by the Art of Education, and I'm your host, Tim Bogatz. All right, welcome to the show and welcome to a celebration. This is episode number 500 of Art Ed Radio, and with me to celebrate and to reminisce is Amanda Heyn. Amanda, how are you?
Good. I feel like I should have had a noisemaker or something. I
Uh, you
want
know,
I want a soundboard or something like woohoo.
that sounds good. We are going to have some fun old audio clips, just as we talk about some of the different things that we've done, different things that we've gone through over the course of 500 episodes, which is
It's almost insane to say out loud.
it's kind of crazy to
500?
think about, yeah, how long we've been
10
doing this.
years?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the other thing, I was talking to my wife about this, and she came up with the point that when I first started doing this podcast, when we put it all together way back in the day, current new teachers were in middle school. So that made me feel so old.
I don't, please, let's go back in time and pretend nobody heard that. That's so wild.
Yeah, it really is. But like it's been a great 10 years. I've enjoyed it for all of this. And I think that's probably I don't know if we'd get to this point if I didn't enjoy doing it. So
Sure.
that's something to remember. But honestly, I was just thinking back to the last year or so, and we've done some super cool stuff in the last year. We did the art history mystery earlier this year, which
Of
I
course.
really loved. Our first, fiction podcast, our first storytelling podcast, brought in a lot of friends. If you did not listen to that, it's a great episode about some art teacher PD at the MoMA and a missing painting and detective mystery. We really enjoyed making that, so I
Yeah.
thought that was fun to do.
You could also use it in your classroom.
Yeah,
That it's a two-part
absolutely.
episode. You could see who your students think. In fact, when we previewed it with Janet Taylor's son, we only had the first part done, and he said, "Mom, I need to know who did it. Like, when is the second episode coming?" So,
Yeah, but I thought it was a good mystery. It was not too obvious, so that was good. And it can be a good vehicle to introduce some art history because we have some specific paintings that we talk about,
mhm.
some specific artists, and it's pretty fun. And the other thing from this fall that I really loved is we did our first live podcast.
Yes.
Welcome to the first of the month mailbag, and welcome to our first ever live episode of Art Ed Radio. Yep. What were your memories from that, Amanda?
It was just so exciting to be in a room with people who you usually we don't get to see you all listening to the podcast. And it
We're
was just
talking to each other, we're hitting publish, and I know, we've got thousands of people listening, but we don't know that. We don't see those people. And so
right.
the energy in a full room there was pretty
It
spectacular.
was really fun because we didn't have to add the sounds in post-production because people just clapped for us, which was really lovely and really, really kind.
Very
Um,
validating.
I can say it was the most fun I've ever had recording a podcast. I mean, no offense, this is also
No.
very fun, but
Yes.
having having our community there was really extra special. Also, we gave away these incredible rainbow scarves it was great to have everybody in the room wearing a rainbow scarf. It
Yes,
just
they
did
they
something to
were
my
very
heart.
popular. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see if anybody wears those scarves because NAEA, the National Convention, is in Chicago, which is where we
Yes.
did the live podcast. So if we find those people still wearing their scarves, like that would be very
You
cool.
know, I don't know. I probably can't say anything. We are also giving away something good that you can wear, probably 99% sure, at NEEA this year. So we're going to be there.
Well,
So we hope to see even more of you.
we'll say no promises, but keep an eye out.
Yes.
But no, I was just gonna say with that live podcast, it really felt like I don't know, just a culmination of building up a very
Yeah.
cool audience and having enough listeners that people want to come hear us live. And then as soon as we got done, it was like, oh, that's not a culmination. Like we need to do this more. And so
Yeah.
hopefully in the future we can do that again sometime.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
great.
very enjoyable. So I also wanted to talk about when we first started just the idea of the podcast because you've worked here, we talk that
Yeah.
I have been doing this for a long time. You've worked here even longer than me.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about AOE Live, our first foray into podcasting?
Well, it was great. And I think it was just a little bit before people were ready for it.
Welcome to AOE Live, a podcast for art teachers. Whether you're listening on your commute or while working in your classroom, we're glad you're here. Now let's get started.
So now we have Instagram Live, right? Or
Hmm.
we have YouTube Live, or we have
Hmm.
streaming. We have all the streaming platforms
Yeah.
that people go on all the time, and people have their, favorites that they listen to and they subscribe to, and none of that infrastructure really existed 10 years
It did
ago.
not. It did
And so,
not.
like, that was our idea. Our idea was to be a streaming podcast that you could
Yes.
come in and interact with. Obviously, that's why it was called AOE Live. I don't know how many people listening today actually remember that or ever caught one of those things. I also don't think the technology was quite ready for us.
No, it
Yeah,
was not.
it was. It was, I just remember, and I wasn't heavily involved in the show at that point, really. It was you and Andrew McCormick.
Hmm.
And I just remember, though, behind the scenes, a lot of stress with each month or week, or I don't know
It
how.
was every other week is
That's
what
right.
we
It
were
was every
doing.
other week. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was incredibly stressful because like you said, like the idea was there, but the technology was not there
Right.
yet. So we're sort of trying to force it a little bit, and it was great for what it was, but it was definitely not sustainable with,
Right.
all of those things. So we just kind of with all of those issues, I should say. And so we transitioned into making just a podcast, just
Yeah, I
a
was gonna say,
one-on-one
what was that
podcast.
conversation of like, hey, this maybe we could just do a regular podcast? Because also those were new. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
fairly
like
new.
podcasts were what they are today either.
No,
So,
definitely not. I mean, they were coming into the mainstream. They were
yeah.
getting a lot more popular. We're not groundbreaking by any means, but I remember we got through one episode with just a ton of technical difficulties. It was a huge issue, a huge stressor, and we just said like we can't do this. Like
Yeah.
this isn't sustainable. And we had, I think, three more guests booked for future weeks. Then we're like, let's just wrap it up then. And we decided to transition into the podcast, and that worked pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the podcast worked well. I loved hosting with Andrew. We did a couple episodes that got quite a bit of traction, which was kind of fun. And back when things went viral on Facebook. So,
Right. Yeah. I guess was that when you realized people were kind of listening? When you
yeah.
started to get hate mail, not hate mail, but discussion, when you started to generate a robust discussion, I'll say, about certain
That's a
topics.
very, very good phrasing for it. But yeah, that's absolutely what happened. I remember we did an episode with Don Massey, one of my favorite art teacher friends. And it was about teaching contemporary art history. And, we tried to be kind of edgy with our titles. And so I think we called the episode No More Dead White Guys. The world of contemporary art is vast. It can be difficult to understand and difficult to navigate. In this episode, No More Dead White Guys, we're going to talk about how to dive into the world of contemporary art, or at least dip your toes in to move beyond the stale curriculum of European masters that make up far too much of what art teachers often share with their students. Which I still stand by the way, but it got a lot of traction, and just a lot of people on one side going, hey, this is great, I love this information, I love your perspective, and other people going, oh, this is really inflammatory, why would you title it this, why are you trying to be so offensive with things?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, we're not trying to be offensive, we just want to get you to listen to the podcast. But, doing that, I think got a lot more listeners, which I think was great. And we did I don't know, a two-part episode, I guess, called The Things That Great Art Teachers Do and also the things that terrible art teachers do.
I
And
remember that.
we were not trying to hate on terrible art teachers. We were just saying like, hey, maybe try to avoid these mistakes. But again, with a title like that, that's not the message that got through. And so,
Right.
yeah, but
Okay, so other than like mellowing the rage bait titles, which was a learning experience and growth, what
fair,
other
yes.
what other shifts do you think have happened over the last 10 years, either like art ed
Um,
or over the course of the podcast? I
yeah,
mean,
that's a really good question. I think,
if I may turn the tables and become the interviewer.
oh, that's fair. Good. I appreciate it, to be honest. I think the biggest change is just honestly in the way we support each other over the
Hmm.
past 10 years. Because when, we're talking 2015, 16, 17, things like that, blogs were still huge.
Yeah.
And that was great because there was a lot of discussion, but a lot of that discussion was how do we teach art in the best ways? Like who's doing things the right way, who's doing things
Yeah.
the wrong way? Like, should you be giving students more choice? Should you focus more on the product? Like, and there's a lot of debate, which I think was healthy. I think that was helpful because it really let people focus in on the way that they teach best and let people
Hmm.
reflect and kind of think deeply about what they want their classroom to look like. And that was awesome. But it it was a little contentious at times, I would
Yeah.
say. And so I think over the course of the past few years, we've all kind of just accepted like, hey, everybody's going to do things differently. We may not love how other people are teaching, but we're all kind of in this together. And I think that
Hmm.
that shift to supporting each other, helping each other, being willing to share information and lessons and ideas and procedures and whatever else you want to share has been a wonderful shift to help everybody kind of be more supportive of each other. So,
Yeah. I
um,
think that is kind of wild to think about. It really was, people really had ideas about the right way to teach art.
mhm.
And you're right. And now the shift has come where it's like, what's the right way to teach art for you, to your
Yes,
kids? Because I think we're
yes.
just realizing that different kids in different places need different things. And maybe also, I feel like the pandemic sort of kicked that into gear. It was like everybody really came together. I mean,
Mhm.
not that I wish that happened, but but I
And one of
really
these
think
silver linings in those
one of the
very
silver
dark clouds.
linings, yeah, is I think there was a lot more understanding of actually we're all really working toward the same goal. And however you get there is okay, you know,
Yeah.
with extreme exceptions. Of course there's outliers, but
No, I think that's good. And I think that's good to kind of reflect on and talk about as, we've gone through all this time. And I really like the place that we're in right now
yeah,
and the way that everyone helps each other at this point.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so other than Sir Ken Robinson and me, who
And
are
you,
some of, I mean,
I
we're
was
in the
good.
same caliber of human. I'm obviously kidding. Who have been some of your favorite guests?
Oh, okay. I was trying to see how you were tying
Yeah.
yourself to Sir Ken Robinson. Okay, let me think about that. Yeah, obviously you. I loved
Of course.
interviewing Sir Ken. He was great. And I am here with Sir Ken Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank
Good,
you, Tim.
good.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks. And when we got done with that interview and like shut microphones off, and he's like, "You were great. I think he said, you're not a bad interviewer at all," which is like the most
Amazing.
English, like most Englishman compliment you can give. And so that was a great feeling. But I love that. Obviously I loved hosting with Andrew way back in the day. We have,
Yes.
dozens, hundreds of episodes together, like lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
So that's been great. And we have the people who come on all the time. So, Jen Russell's on a lot. Candido Crespo's been on a lot. Kyle Wood is here all the time. Lena Rodriguez, just lots of people who come back over and
Janet.
over. Well, I was going to say, we have our AOE people with you,
Yes.
Janet, I love talking to Janet and working through all of her ideas with her has always been amazing. Couple bigger names that I really enjoyed. Talking to Drew Daywalt, the author of The Day
The
the
day that,
Crayons
yeah.
Quit. And I loved him because not only does he write children's books, he also directs horror movies.
Oh
And so
my
that was a
gosh, I
very
forgot.
interesting conversation to talk about that. Another one was CJ Hendry, who huge on Instagram for her super realistic colored pencil drawings. And
Mm,
Everything you've touched on maybe is the reason that I've had some levels of success. I think to be perfectly honest, hyperrealism and realism is a really easy to digest subject matter. Yeah, the fact that it is so easy to digest, it's easy to understand, it's easy to wow people. So using social media just to be like, oh wow, it's a drawing, like it's very easy to consume. So I think that is definitely part of it.
she's obviously expanded way beyond that now. CJ invited me into her studio. We did the interview there. She let me look through her drawings and her
oh,
works in
so
progress, and
cool.
she was just the coolest. And so,
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed that. So that was a lot of fun. And I was just gonna say too, thinking about working with Janet, she's done a lot with us and put together a couple mini series for us too, which have been super fun. We put together the What Do New Teachers Need to Know episodes, and
Mhm.
those are 3 years ago now, but we still have so many people just writing in being like, these are a lifesaver. I love these. And so
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like all of the miniseries from the past 10 years hold up like very well. So if people don't know about them, obviously the new teachers one you just mentioned, but then can you tell us about the other two?
yeah, so we did with Jonathan Jurovich. He hosted The Art of SEL, all about social emotional learning. And that was 8 episodes, and he did an incredible job of telling stories, interviewing great guests, and then talking about how you can use social emotional learning in your classroom. So not only giving good examples and making it an entertaining podcast, but making it a worthwhile, like a useful podcast. So I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. And then Ask the Experts. We just did a deep dive into specific media. And so there's an episode on drawing, an episode on ceramics, an episode on printmaking, and just going through everything you need to know in order to teach those mediums. And I really enjoyed doing that and really enjoyed doing those deep dives. So that was a fun one to put together as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think they still hold up. So
Yeah.
yeah, if anybody wants to go check those out, we'll link to them
I was
as
gonna
as
say, can
we
we link
always
them in the show
do.
notes?
Yeah. So
I think another thing that we've done, I mean, that's newer, which some people might not even know, depending on when you started listening, but we have not always done the mailbag. The mailbag is
yes,
really only like,
yes,
it's a toddler. It's like 18 months old, I
yeah,
think,
a couple years
ish.
maybe. I
Maybe
I
two.
don't
Maybe it's
know,
two.
but not important. But the important part is we're doing it now. This is an idea we've had for how long, and
10
we're
years, the
finally
whole
doing.
time.
Yeah, so when I first started, Amanda, you were the editor who, took care of everything for the website,
Yep.
and I was a writer who wrote articles, and I kept proposing the mailbag idea,
Right.
like, hey, let's have people write in with questions and I'll answer them. And you're like, yes, this is a great idea, but it always got I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
And
never
it
got
never
off the
got out of the
ground.
starting
Yeah.
blocks for various reasons. But then finally a couple of years ago, we're like, you know what? Let's just do it in podcast form. And so yeah, since you've been working with me forever on wanting to bring that idea to life, and I enjoy talking to you. It really made sense to have
Yeah.
you as the guest. And those have taken off. It's been awesome. They're our most popular episodes, and I'm glad we can actually, put that idea into action finally.
Right. Well, and I think it's so fun because it also represents a shift of our community getting more involved in the
Yes.
podcast. So, I mean, the mailbag, we had some community members help us out with the art history mystery,
Hmm.
obviously at the live podcast. So that's something I know we want to keep pushing forward as the podcast evolves. So, can you talk a little bit about maybe like how the audience helps shape the direction of the show in general, and then why people should call and leave us a voicemail for the next mailbag?
No, that's a very good question also. And I think we've always kind of taken suggestions for episodes. Like people will write in and be like, you should do an episode on this. And we're like, oh, that's a great idea. And we'll do that. And sometimes people have wonderful ideas, but I can't find the right guest and I don't feel, qualified to talk about things on my own necessarily. But having the feedback on a regular basis for those monthly podcasts is really helpful. And obviously, we have stats, and we can see that we get more listens when we have an episode about creativity, and so we will dive into that a little bit more. But having that actual feedback is helpful, and then we see those conversations in the community about
Yeah.
different topics, and a lot of times, we think to ourselves like, oh, that would make for a good podcast in the future, or if we just see smaller questions or smaller topics that we want to bring in to the mailbag, then I think that works really, really well. And so I think just kind of that interaction
Hmm.
and that feedback in not quite real time, but pretty close is incredibly helpful and helps us, I guess, frame things in a way that's really, really helpful. And so I'd love to do more of that moving forward, I guess, and get
Hmm.
more feedback. So if anybody wants to email me, Timothy Bogatz at theartofeducation.edu. I would love any comments about the podcast. I would love any questions for the mailbag. And like you said, Amanda, if you would like to leave us a voicemail, we always love voicemails for the mailbag podcast. The number is 515-209-2595. And just, yeah, leave us an email with or a voicemail with whatever questions you have, and we'll be happy to answer those in
I
future
know. We would
podcasts.
literally squeal with joy. I think
You
one
would squeal with joy. I would be like, hey, that's pretty cool.
fair. I think one thing that's really interesting and cool about the podcast is that you said it's in real time. And it's not, obviously, we have to record a little bit ahead of time, but compared to some of our other offerings, which take weeks or even months to develop, if we're talking about products and things like that, this
Mhm.
really is the place where we can respond to what's happening in the world right now. This and the Now conference, right, are sort of the moment. And so, if you're not in the habit of listening week to week, I really think you should like add it to your calendar because we are really talking about things that are happening right now. I know we were talking about how the audience shapes the podcast, but also like art news sometimes shapes the podcast.
Yeah, very
We
true.
did fun episodes on the Lisa Frank documentary and the
Hmm.
Isabella Gardner Museum heist documentary. And
Yep.
I'm actually reading a book right now, Tim, that I haven't even told you about. It's a new book. It's like
Okay.
14-day
I'm
loan at the
intrigued.
library
Yeah.
about this guy who did hundreds of art heists.
Oh,
He
okay.
made like a room of the Louvre in his house. It's really
Oh,
fascinating. So
wow.
anyway,
Okay. Gonna have to check that out. I was also gonna say, as you were talking about, those documentaries coming out, we've done like real time news responses, like when they found a new Basquiat painting. We did an episode the next week about that. When Notre Dame
yeah,
caught on fire, we
yep.
did kind of a reaction episode to that. And so just being able to do those things, I think is worthwhile because I'm the same way with the podcasts that I listen to. If they can help me process or help me think
Hmm.
about, the things that I'm interested in or the things that are going on, then I think that's, incredibly helpful for me. And if we can do that for somebody else, then I love that idea.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Amanda, thank you for coming on and chatting with me about 500 episodes. Just a quick and easy celebration of a little over 10 years of doing this podcast. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. And, we'll see you next month for the mailbag too.
Okay. Well, before we go, nobody's here to tell you this because we just talked about it because our audience you can't see. So, on behalf of all of our thousands of listeners, thanks for being here for the last 10 years. I really think you've become like the voice of art education for a lot of art teachers in their classrooms and on their commutes and during their prep time. And so, I'll say thanks on behalf of everybody out there.
Well, I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. See you next month, everybody.